Welcome back to Session 2 of this course, which will support you in mindfully and compassionately moving through times of transition and challenge by grounding in the wisdom of this moment. In the first session, we explored the power of mindfulness to help us come home to ourselves in difficult times, and we practiced awareness of our breath and body as a means to come home to ourselves and find real refuge. In this session, we'll focus on resting back and trusting the unknown. I spent 15 years as a nun in the Plum village community of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, affectionately known as Thai, or teacher in Vietnamese. Often people would ask Thai what to do when facing big life decisions, like which career path to take, whether to separate or stay with their partner, or whether to ordain as a monastic. Thai would often say, "Don't try to figure out the answer by thinking about it." In thinking, we do not generally arrive at real wisdom, but we easily tire ourselves out and get even more confused or anxious. These deeper life questions can't be resolved at the level of the mind, but must be entrusted to a different, deeper part of our consciousness. Thai suggested that we consider this big question as a seed, plant it in the soil of our mind, and let it rest there. Our mindfulness practice in our daily lives is the sunshine and water that the seed needs to sprout, and one day it will rise up on its own, in its own time, and we'll know the answer to our question without a doubt. But we must leave the seed down in the soil of our mind and not keep digging it up to see if it is growing roots. It won't grow that way. It is the same with a deep and troubling question. We ask our deeper consciousness to take care of it and then let go of our thinking and worrying about it. Then in our daily lives, we practice calming, resting, and coming home to ourselves in the present moment. And that will help the seed of our question to ripen naturally and authentically. This process cannot be rushed or forced. It may take weeks, months, or years. But we can trust that the seed is down there, and one day it will sprout into a clear answer. It can be challenging at times because we may really want to know the answer. We may find ourselves deeply insecure and fearful if we don't know what to do, which path to choose. We worry we will make the wrong choice, and we catastrophize about what will happen if we take this or that direction. It's hard to find our way if we continue to feed this worry and fear. We can recognize that we're not helping the situation and stop. Breathing in and breathing out. Returning to this moment, we will find the solidity of the home inside of us, which is capable of helping us find our way, if only we let it. And if we can let go of trying to figure out the future in our heads. Some years ago, I was trying to discern whether or not to leave the monastic life after having lived basically all of my adult life from age 25 to 40 as a nun. During that time, I attended silent retreats at the Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts, or IMS, for several years in a row that were 6 weeks or 3 months long. It was an important time of pause, to look deeply, to return home to myself, and let my own consciousness take its time to find the way. When I decided to ordain as a nun at age 25, in my heart I was making a life commitment. So it was painful and confusing to find myself questioning this vow that I had assumed would carry me through my entire life. In that time of transition, I didn't know who I was anymore, and I had no idea who I might become. I was in the midst of a process like the caterpillar that must dissolve itself completely in the chrysalis to become a butterfly. It was terrifying and extremely uncomfortable when I wanted answers and clarity, when I was used to knowing where I was going. Joseph Goldstein was one of my interview teachers on these retreats at IMS, and when I shared how distressing it was to find myself with no solid ground under me whatsoever, he mentioned Alan Watts' book, The Wisdom of Uncertainty. It points out that when we are clear and sure about what we're doing, we can't be open to the many other possibilities available. But when we let ourselves hang out in the space of not knowing, there's enormous potential, and life could unfold in innumerable ways. So rather than avoid and fear this place of uncertainty, we can embrace it and all its gifts. What I found on these long, silent retreats was not an answer to my dilemma of whether to disrobe or continue as a nun, but rather the ability to dwell more and more comfortably in the not knowing. I learned to allow the seed of my question to rest in the deeper layers of my consciousness. I was able to touch peace, joy, and well-being in the midst of not knowing, in the midst of awkwardness and confusion. I learned to let go of fear and resistance, right in the face of dissolving and losing my identity. By slowing down, choosing to rest back into the uncertainty rather than fighting it, I was able to touch into a sense of space, precisely in moments when it felt like there was no way to keep going, and I would be totally overwhelmed. If we can breathe in and out, putting our mind completely on our breathing, we can create that space. We slow things down and let our nervous system recalibrate and center. The external situation may not change, but we've changed in relationship to our external situation. If we can stop, we have the chance to touch into something deeper than overwhelm. This practice of pausing or stopping helps the seed of our question to mature and ripen into the guidance and direction we need. To begin the practice, find a comfortable position, sitting, standing, or lying. Connect with your body and how it's making contact with the chair or the floor. Allow yourself to rest back in some way and really feel the support of whatever is holding you. Every time you breathe out, let your body rest even more into the support of the earth. Allow your face to soften, releasing the forehead, the muscles around the eyes, the jaw. Let the tongue rest in the mouth. Be aware of the shoulders, and as you breathe out, let the shoulders soften. Bring attention to the chest and belly. Allow them to release and soften on the next exhale. Notice your arms and hands. With the next exhale, let them grow a little heavier, releasing tension. Feel your legs and feet. As you exhale, release, soften, and let go. Feel your whole body now as you inhale and exhale, allowing the whole body to soften and release its weight even more onto the earth. Now bring to mind whatever your question or challenge is. Without trying to figure out an answer or solution, see it as a seed you are entrusting to the soil of your mind, down in its depths. Allow the seed to lay there peacefully, quietly. Let yourself rest back into the unknown. Feel your body, feel your breath. While it may be scary not to know, there's also infinite possibility here. Breathing with awareness, feeling your body settling, becoming present. And give the seed of your question, your challenge, permission to take all the time it needs to ripen into an answer, into a clear way forward. Trust your own consciousness to show you the way when the time is right. I entrust myself. I entrust myself to the earth, and she entrusts herself to me. I entrust myself. I entrust myself to the earth, and she entrusts herself to me. In this second session, we've looked at how we can allow our deep life questions or challenges to rest like a seed in the soil of our mind, which we can nurture through daily mindfulness practice, trusting that when the seed is ready, it will sprout on its own, and we'll know what to do to resolve our question or difficulty. In the next session, we'll focus on how accepting challenging, unsteady times can help us move more wisely and gracefully through them.